Okay, here we are at Hunterworks, continuing with our basic series on a few basic things on clutching. Today we're going to be talking about how to swap out the Helix and Spring in a, what I call an EBS secondary. This is it, and you can see, notice the smaller rollers in it. You can find these on 08, 09 RZR 800s, a 13 800 with engine braking, anything with engine braking in those models. And then 14, 15, 1000s, XP 900s, so forth, so on. So anything with what I call a removable helix that's a spring is not under pressure. So I'm going to be showing you how to do that. Before we get too far into it, if you like our videos and want to make sure that you catch all of them, there'll be a subscribe button over here in the corner. Up in the top, there's a little eye, has a link to our website, and usually down or below in the description, I got a little link to get to us that way. If you don't know who's making these videos with this and all this by now, I don't know if I can help you anymore. I'm just kidding. So anyway, let's get to it. So we're using our Hunterworks spring compressor, secondary spring compressor. The stem on it is pretty small. The purpose of that is, compared to the hole in these, and I reach over and grab one of the newer styles, the 17, where the hole is really little. And it's what we had to do to get it to fit through there. All right, so it can still be used, but we slide it over. All right, we're fixing to switch over to camera views so you can see a little bit more about what we're doing here. So the first thing you want to do is take a torch, heat up these screws a little bit because they got Loctite on them. Mine's already loose, so I'm not going to go through the motions, but you get it. About 10-15 seconds each. I use an impact with a T25 Torx bit on it, and you make sure it's seated, and then I put downward pressure. All right, I usually do it a crisscross. See that tap, tap, tap? You want to do that to make sure it's actually moving before you go to town on it. Boy, you strip one of these screws, you're in a mess. You'll be calling me buying a new one. So slide your helix out, exposes the dampener, put the bell down. You'll usually have a washer you slide here. I use a couple of old rollers. Put your handle on, give it a good spinning. Love these Hunterworks handles. And one thing I didn't do is get in the position I wanted. I usually want to position it where the snap ring is, where I can get to it. I take a marker and I mark down the shaft and then mark on down in the dampener best I can to line it back up. The reason you need to line it up is there's a missing tooth in there, as I call it, and it's got to be in the same spot. So you take your snap ring pliers. I use Knipex, Knipex 90 degree. I believe they call them external snap ring pliers. Got them off Amazon. Makes it real easy. Take your snap ring off. I guess I should sell Knipex. Maybe I should. All right, take this loose. There we are. Take the snap ring off, dampener assembly. If you was swapping out a heavy duty dampener, now would be the time. You just swap it out in your hand. It comes right out. Swapping it, take your spring out. Again, this video is very basic. Let's just getting it apart for whatever you may be doing. Switch back up. Whatever you may be doing, whether it's cleaning, putting our heavy duty rollers in because the stock wasn't on the flat spot and blow belts, whether you're doing that, putting a clutch kit in, so forth, so on. So again, it's just a basic video. So there's also in this 1000 is a spring cup. Make sure when you're manipulating this around, if it falls out, get it back in, cup side up, put spring in, your new spring, old spring, whatever you're doing. You got your mark right here, your mark's on this. Line it up for me. I'm gonna slide my snap ring back on. You put the bell, rollers, your case washer, and get it going. All right. Maybe you can tell I've done this a few times. All right. I haven't got used to two camera angles. It's kind of a new thing for me. All right, now sometimes I don't want to go. It's because that you're not lined up on that little tooth, and I usually can feel my way by when I think, yeah, you loosen like I did and turn it a little bit, and you'll feel it. Take snap ring pliers. Tell you what we could do. Maybe you can see us a little bit better. I don't know if I can do it backwards. There's your snap ring. And spread it. Yeah, and there you go. And make sure you got your spring compressed, and there's a little about a, oh, I don't know, a little over 1/8 inch gap. All right. Now, I usually try to keep those rollers lined up with that X. Your Helix, your stock Helix has a little X on it. Your aftermarket, depending on what it is, may have a little mark here, wherever it is. That's its purpose is for balance. Set it back in. Now this one is not wanting to line up because it's pushing against a roller. So basically what I do at this point is I just twist it, pulling right here, or doing whatever it takes to get it about there. Because as soon as you operate it one time, them rollers and everything's gonna get back in place. Start these by hand. Always start them by hand, because you can strip them out if you try to use a tool. Now people fuss about me using a tool for taking them out and putting them in. Been doing it so long. Only thing I know, I don't torque them. Go. All right, I went a little bit fast, but I would ease it down and just give it a little tap tap. It's the little one. All four with your blue Loctite on there. I don't have any out here today, but Loctite them and you're good to go. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Again, just a little basic little video to help somebody out. If we can help you in any way, give us a call here at Hunterworks. And thanks so much for what you do for us.